already. We got the 9 ways with Jimmy. You know, Jimmy coming into it, but you got the 9 ways. It's 9 ways to even even coming through the whole thing. 9 ways to even making it. Making it. But it's 9 ways, but you got the 9 ways with Jimmy, especially with Jimmy and the whole thing, and especially with the whole thing already coming re poncho and everything else, but with the 9 ways and everything else, Jimmy and the main the just his whole thing, especially him, his whole thing, already, you know, coming through it and for Sosin, but you got with the whole just Jimmy.
Yo, hey,
Alright, OrWot, this one's crazy.
I was sending out enough black texts I really didn't know about more than texting. Me was a favor when I see a text saying baby with capital X's. -1 and Jimmy still sweating. I was sending out enough black texts I really didn't know about morning texting. Alex is asking how's my business, like me and Dookie are brethrens. Re was a favor when I see a text saying baby with capital X's. I trapped the fuck out of winter. -1 and Jimmy still sweating. I was sticking up so much, man, even though I had bricks dropping like Tetris. From young I had no direction, running from SIDS and them old school veterans. More time I'm gang on my ones, but he don't X's.
Ooh, at the youngin, I had no directions, no everything. Especially when you grow up in, the potential, streets, like something you was raised in, something you was raised in. You was raised in the trenches, raised in the trenches. Most people come from that, like, even come from the whole thing, raised without no rules, raised without no, consensual rules, especially jumping off the porch at the age of like 13, 14, and doing it all, especially when there's no type of, general little rules, when it comes to, this whole thing, especially how everything else, hits, and especially how everything can hit at just one little moment, like just one little procedure of a skiff. But it's crazy to see this whole thing how it's already happening and the rules.
I trapped the fuck out of winter. -1 and Jimmy still sweating. I was sticking up so much, man, even though I had bricks dropping like Tetris. From young I had no direction, running from SIDS and them old school veterans. More time I'm gang on my ones, but you don't wanna butt gang as a collective. Just know we ain't picking and choosing. One man's cool, fuck being selective. It's peak if selected. I've seen man sacrifice brethrens. Little bro love rings, crying for machine, bet this machine ain't fending. Push big weight, man, bench it, same time dodging a sentence. Can't lie, back in the day it was tough. Pockets were broke, no man sacrifice.
Ooh, still dodging the tension, hey, still dodging the pretentious and everything else, and still back in the days it was still hard. It was hard, to even do things like, hey, it was hard to even, to do things like, especially, people, having that little of a bit of a, of a struggle detail and everything else, especially with everything else, collaboration and everything else, with the main thing, and the main collaborations and everything else, those have really points to it, just a point of a struggle, point of a proceed.
Brethrens. Little bro love rings, crying for machine, bet this machine ain't fending. Push big weight, man, bench it, same time dodging a sentence. Can't lie, back in the day it was tough. Pockets were broke, no choice but to mend it. No choice. Now we got our own sticks.
Hey, dodging the sentence. Hey, dodging the sentence.
Run our own phones, now we're well respected. I heard network is net worth. I'm all about long time, Jimmy, stay connected. Drop weight on the youngers and tell them stretch it. I wish I had someone like me back then. I done wrong but with good intentions. I do roll in the night and day. Baby girls tell me just say 2 phones twerk, they don't vibrate. I'm a 9-way trying to make bread 9 ways.
Oh, what do you say? 2 girls twerking, they don't vibrate and everything else. I wish I had another person like me. Hey, I wish I had another person like me. Hey, most realist as me, because you ain't really gonna find that. And that's the thing about it. You won't really find that. You won't really find that loyalty, that most thing. Like, cause I had a person like me with that, just that, that loyalty and that, just that feed and that, just that solitary and everything else, keeping it solid. That would be uh a present, to have that. Because you don't really have that You don't have too many now because they're all of them are getting pursued, and most of them are not even existing no more. Like it's just sad news and sad brews.
I don't take no breaks, still grind like 25-8. Enough consequence if man violate, that's juice and tape on a man's estate. I do roll to the night and day, baby girl always tell me drive safe. Two phones twerk, they don't vibrate, I'm a 9 boy trying to make bread 9 ways. I don't take no breaks, still grind like 25-8. Enough consequence if man violate, that's juice and tape on a man's estate. Been in the hood for so long, jugging the whole ends, now I'm established. From Quaid, this phone's been stamped in the end, same time, I was there for the madness. Bro, just lie me a stain, so I'ma clean it and then vanish. When it's live boy in my face, tell a man best give if I start me erratic. If I want it, I cop it, or if I want it, I take it. Stay man and then stay man's bridge, and I burnt bare bridges by 8 burnt friendships. Mummy said find yourself, then I found myself when I made my first 10 jips. K-Love robbing the most, I think he's got a robbery fetish. I fell in love with the T. Where would I be if I were out selling? Could quit the trap right now, then relapse. You would've thought that the joke's so tempting. The life that I live's expensive. Music don't cover my expenses, and neither does female presence. So I rise up and go get it. Bro got the patience, main road drill. He done left guys for the medics. But his card or pops, enough man sprint and turn athletic. Hope the gang then blow. Showdown shows put a rest to the coffins. Free all the guys, release dates pending, still getting days extended. I do roll to the night and day. Baby girl always tell me drive safe.
Ooh, I still do the roles night and day, especially how everything else, and then people they still got their stuff pending, like, hey, like they say, with the whole thing, especially how everything else is going, like, free all the innocent people, free all the guys, because it's a lot of, different things, going on, different, stuff going on, like even situations, like even you getting put in a situation, like even you getting put in the dirty situations, like you wouldn't want to get put in the dirty situation. So it's like, you never wish that on the next person because it can get real, real both ways. Like that can even be you, that could be you one day, like in that position where you probably in that little or soaking position, and now you trying to find your way through it, get out of it, all these other, tosses and flurmies.
Phones twerk, they don't vibrate, I'm a 9 boy trying to make bread 9 ways. I don't take no breaks, still grind like 25-8. Enough consequence if man violate, that's juice and tape on a man's estate. I do roll to the night and day, baby girl always tell me drive safe. Two phones twerk, they don't vibrate, I'm a 9 boy trying to make bread 9 ways. I don't take no breaks, still grind like 25-8. Enough consequence if man violate, that's juice and tape on a man's estate. I was sending out enough black texts, I really didn't know about more than texting. But when I see a text saying baby with capital X's, -1 and Jimmy still
Hey, come on in it. You coming in? Hey, coming in with it though. You got the only 9 Jimmy. Especially with the whole everything else. Like especially with the, him putting his whole revealing his face and everything else. I'm starting to think. A lot of these guys are starting. To reveal the whole thing. Like especially how the whole thing is. Coming in. Like I'm starting to think. But you got the 9 ways. Especially with this whole thing. Like he was rolling his whole story. His whole. You know benefits, behind it and everything else, especially with this whole thing coming into it. Like you got your story behind it, your lifestyle, even the lifestyle that you live in. Like no one knows the life you live but you or the people that's surrounding you, the people that surround you, the people that grew up around you. But just with this one coming into it, especially with the whole 9 ways and this whole thing, especially with the only 9, Jimmy. So make sure you guys definitely go tune in and everything else. But oof, he didn't put it he didn't throw this one to a 10, 10 out of the whole thing, but with Jimmy and everything else, make sure you guys definitely like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you guys definitely tuning in with this one and everything else, and with this whole, stage, profilms, because Jimmy coming into it, basically with everything else, and with the just the just with Jimmy.